friends, welcome back to my channel. I know that I haven't done a sit down video in a while. I'm pretty sure it's been like 3 years, but today I wanted to do an April favorites video. Because I've been traveling so much, I actually have been focused less on materialistic things. One reason is because I'm trying to practice being more intentional, being more minimal. But another thing is that I just don't even have enough space in my luggage. I've been traveling around with basically just a carry-on and a personal bag. So I had to be pretty cutthroat about what items I have in my possession. So the past few months I've been focused a lot more on less physical things and more just activities, software, just non-tangible things. So I wanted to share a few of my favorites from this month. So let's get started. So the other week I was trying out a new cafe and discovered this really cute cafe that's also an art studio, and they were hosting some workshops and I was interested in their food workshop. So me and Sean, we went to go paint some food. This is the one that I ended up doing. It's a little waffle and a smiley face. I just copied a painting off of Pinterest because I don't know how shadows and stuff work, so it was much easier to just copy from a painting than like trying to paint something in real life. And then I'll also show you Sean's because I think it turned out so cute. And I actually ended up going again and I ended up painting a little toast, and then the actual workshop itself was about textured painting. So then on top of the bread I did like a little butter thing. I haven't painted since high school and it was a really nice change in the daily activities that I would normally do. On the subject of changing things up, I've also just been going to a bunch of different cafes and restaurants, and it's been really good, I think, for my mental health because I tend to get sucked into routines, and then usually when I start prioritizing work too much, I end up staying home most of the time and just ordering in from the exact same restaurants, from the exact same cafes, and then it kind of escalates to me just not leaving the house at all. So I'm making an effort to just go out of the house, go try new cafes. And it's funny because every time I do it, I feel so much more inspired and refreshed. I've also been really into working on passion projects. Since running my own business, I just felt like all of my free time should go towards growing my business. And that kind of led to feeling burnt out within my business and also just with design in general. So I started working on this passion project with my fiance, who's also my co-founder, and right now we're working on this reimagined Pomodoro timer. It's using a framework that I've used since university and something that works with him with his job as a software engineer. So hopefully we get it out in public for you to be able to use, but I wanted to share some of the screens that I've designed and some of the functionalities that we've already started working on. We're planning for this to be available on iOS within the next month or so. If you're interested in trying out the app, make sure to add your email to the waitlist link and you'll be notified right when we launch. So I keep looking down on my notes because I've just been writing my content ideas on this journal, but I've had this journal since, let's see, my first entry. It was beginning of August and I've been using it up, and I'm pretty sure this is like the first time I'll actually ever finish a full-on journal, especially of this thickness. And I've been journaling freely, which has been really helpful because sometimes I would just set rules for what I'm using one journal for, and then I end up not liking it after a few weeks and then I stopped journaling altogether. So I was like, okay, like this is gonna be my catch-all journal. I use it as sometimes a planner. I sometimes just work through my thoughts on here. I've also just been doing a lot of like junk journaling as I'm traveling, and it's really fun to just like look back at these pages and also look back at my entries to see how much my mindset or like how much my circumstances have changed over time. I've also just been pasting like little things that make me happy and collecting little stickers and stamps. I'm like so attached to this now that I always have it. Even like when I have a small purse, I just like carry it around with me. I think as someone that has been really on and off with journaling, just having no rule when it comes to journaling has been the number one thing that has helped me actually stay consistent with journaling, which is so great for my mental health. I will link this specific journal down below because I'm like super particular when it comes to paper quality and actual layout of the paper. And I really like that it's a really subtle grid design, and then it has a little indicator on top for you to be able to just circle down the actual date so you never have to write out the entire date. Another April favorite that's like pretty unique to this month is doing a lot of last minute hangouts. For me, it was really common in Vancouver to almost schedule friend dates like 2 weeks or up to a month in advance because everyone is so busy. But what I've been really enjoying recently is to just hang out with people and do casual hangs, and even just ask people if they want to grab coffee or dinner the day of or the day before. And a lot of people have been pretty open to doing this. I feel like it takes pressure off of these hangouts, and it doesn't have to be this grand dinner that you plan with friends. And it's almost like reminding me that like friendships are not supposed to be so difficult to maintain, especially into adulthood. So I've been putting a lot more effort into making new friendships. I feel like it's so easy to almost get into the rut of having the same circle of friends or being around the exact same people. It's not like in university where you're almost like forced to meet new people every 3 months and develop like pretty close friendships with these people every 3 months. And it's just been really fun meeting so many people that I normally wouldn't have, just because I'm like putting myself in situation and events that I would not normally go to. So for example, this month I went to a golf simulation thing, and I was like quite nervous going into it because I'm like, oh, I have no idea how to golf. And I ended up meeting so many amazing women, and they showed me how to golf. Now I'm like, oh, I would like to go again this month. So I think that was a really good opportunity for me to get out of my comfort zone, but also just meet a lot of other supportive women that I probably wouldn't have met unless I put myself out there. I did find a designer and seamstress in Da Nang, and I was like, oh, this is a really good opportunity to kind of fix up the clothes that I've been either meaning to fix up or that I was just thinking about getting rid of because it just didn't fit me well anymore. So I ended up mending those clothes, and now I can think of so many clothes back in Vancouver that I just need to get tailored instead of throwing it out. And just the concept of mending or repurposing instead of buying something new has been a big theme this month. In terms of software, if any of you use like Calendly or cal.com, those are services to help you book meetings with coworkers, clients, or whatever you might use it for. I recently discovered that Google Calendar just made their own version of it, and I've since switched over just because I use Google Calendar and Google Suite for basically everything in my business. But if you haven't used it already, I highly recommend it. I think if you don't need a lot of the bells and whistles of Calendly or cal.com, then I think that the Google Calendar works seamlessly because it's like offered by Google. If you do run your own business, you know that the tech stack can really add up really quickly. So I've been trying to reduce it down, and Google Calendar meetings have been really helpful for that. And lastly, I really want you to just go to this next link when you click out of this video, but I discovered a really great R&B playlist. I think it's called Boy or something like that. It's super vibey, a lot of R&B songs, a lot of music that I love listening to. I was like dancing to it like all day yesterday, so it's great. Anyways, that has been all of my favorites from April that were not things, I guess except for this journal, but I was trying to focus on the actual act of journaling. I will link everything that I've mentioned in this video in the description below. Again, if you do want to try out the new Pomodoro app, make sure to sign up for the waitlist, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!